So if you constantly feel like your clients for your OnlyFans management agency are just not creating enough content, or the quality is not there, or it's not on time, this is the one single video you need to watch that is going to solve that entire problem. Because now for me, for the last, I want to say probably the best part of 10, maybe 12 months, I genuinely have not faced this issue. The clients that we get are technically the same clients that I've always had, right? It's not that we changed the outreach or we changed the qualification. It's the same type of clients. But we have changed a few internal things, starting from the sales school, onboarding, and the way that we do content ideation, that ensures that our clients actually create the content. And I've come to the realization only after like 10 months or so that it's because of these changes internally that we made, not because randomly all of these OF creators now decided to make a load of content. So let's go through it. So how can you get your OnlyFans clients to make more content? And first of all, you want to make sure you utilize what you already have, okay? So what I mean by that is every client that you onboard, they will already, of course, have a bunch of reels, a bunch of content that they've already made. Whether that is on social media or in their photo album, you need to get that, right? So if it's on Instagram or any other platform, you can simply download it. There's tons of Google Chrome tools that you can download for free, like all these plugins, and you just simply download all of the content that way. The second thing that you can do as well is ask your client for all the current content that they have on their phone, in their album. Simply upload all of that onto a Google Drive so you can have access to all of it. Then, once you have downloaded all the content, you can put it through a software like Fusion. We don't use it anymore. We have an in-house built tool, which is basically the same thing. But it will basically be able to upload a piece of content, that's already been uploaded on Instagram, for example, and it will be able to re-edit it very, very slightly, where the human eye looks at it and it looks pretty much the same. Whereas Meta and Instagram will see it as a new, unique piece of content because it's been slightly re-edited, right? Maybe the saturation slightly different, it's been cropped, it's been zoomed in a little bit, and so on. Yeah. So that's the first thing, and then you can obviously start to re-upload this content on the backup pages. I wouldn't suggest you to upload it on the main page, but the backup pages, that should be okay, as well as trial reels, okay? So that's the first thing. So that's even using existing content, and there's a little bit more before we move on to the next point. So this means that the client doesn't even have to create more content. Obviously she will, but in the meantime, while she's creating new content, you can use the existing ones. Another thing that you can do is you can take screenshots from her existing videos. So whether that is from her photo album or reels that she has uploaded, take a screenshot of it. And obviously it's going to be very low resolution, right? Because it's a screenshot from a reel. So it's probably going to be very pixelated. It's not going to look great. Now we have created a tool in-house, but to be honest, there's a bunch that you can find online as well, which is basically an upscaling tool. So the screenshot that we take, maybe it's like 480p, right? The resolution is very, very low. We put it through this tool that we built in-house, and it will basically make it look like it's a 4K photo. Like it makes it look insane. It looks like it's literally been taken with a professional camera. And then with these images, well, you can now use these for carousels, and you can now start to re-upload them. You can use them for Instagram stories and so on. Obviously, I do recommend you to scrape the metadata again to make sure that Meta doesn't see that it's an AI tool that's created the image. But that is something that you can do. The second thing, where the client doesn't have to record and create any new content, you're leveraging the existing content. And the third one, before we move on to the next point, is you can quite literally just create an AI avatar of your client. Make sure your client creates a bunch of selfies, from right to left, just literally taking a bunch of pictures of her face, up, down, left, right, etc. Upload all of these images to your in-house team of AI devs. I mean, we have them. If you don't have them, I would highly suggest you do that. I can create a video on that, so leave a like on this video if you want me to do a video on that. But essentially, you create an AI avatar of your clients, and then you can create infinite images of your client anywhere, any day, night, any location, etc. And again, you can use these inside of the carousels, which just helps your client not have to physically go to all these locations. You can do it very easily. Also, for example, whenever there is a festive season, so if it's a Christmas, it's Valentine's, whatever, you can very easily create a bunch of content of your client in these outfits without the client having to physically order anything, right? pretty crazy. Next is, so that's all the things that you can do regarding utilizing existing things before your client even creates new content, okay? But the main topic of this video is how to get your client to actually create a bunch of new content, right? And here's what I have written down for you guys. So first of all, it starts with the sales call and managing the expectations. So something that I used to do wrong, which thinking back at it now is pretty retarded, but on the actual sales call, what I used to do is I used to say along the lines of like, look, you're not really gonna have to create much content. We're gonna try and do as much of it for you as possible, like with the likes of AI. We're gonna try and use your existing content. We're here to make your life a lot easier and make you more money, right? Although partly it is true, like we are still using AI, we are still leveraging her existing content, and we try to make her life as easy as possible, and we make her more money. By saying straight away from the get-go on the sales call, like the expectation of you're not going to have to make loads of content, that obviously sets the expectation for the client. So then when she onboards with our agency, her expectations are, well, you told me at the beginning, you're not going to ask me to do loads of more content. So then therefore you can't onboard this client and then all of a sudden, ask her to do 10 times the work that she did before. That wouldn't make sense. So we just simply scrap that, and no longer do we mention anything along these lines on the sales call. And that follows on to the rest of the process, which is the onboarding. So first of all, by the way, on the sales call, we literally do the opposite. Like we literally tell them how much content they're going to have to create, and it's a lot, right? And we ask them, is this something that you'd physically be able and capable to do, right? Every day, every week. And then in the onboarding process, it's the same thing. On the onboarding process, like we literally tell them, hey, by the way, congratulations, you're now, part of our team. This is what we're going to be expecting from you. And also, within the first, week, on the onboarding process, we ask them that they will have to create 2 weeks worth of content. Okay. The reason, and this is for OnlyFans and for social media. The reason why we do that is just so we have a safety net and a buffer, because in case the client goes on holiday or she's sick or she cannot create content for whatever reason, from the onboarding, we now have 2 weeks worth of content. So we should be good to go. Even if she, like I said, goes on holiday or etc., we will still religiously be posting every single day. So the onboarding, we emphasize about how much content she'll have to create. And we also show her one of our best clients. One of our best clients right now is doing around 180 to 200K a month net, depending on the month. And we explain that we do 49 pieces of content per day for this client, for context. That is 3 organic new reels on her main page, on the main feed, and 20 trial reels on her main page. Then we do another 6 posts on her backup page on the main feed, and then we do 20 trial reels on the backup page as well every single day. So total of 49 reels every single day. And we basically give them the context of how much what it takes to get to this level, because it's all good and well like us just showing her one of our clients that's doing 200K a month, and maybe this client is only doing like 15K a month right now, and she's going to be thinking, oh my god, like I finally found an agency that can help me get there. And it's like, we can help you get there as long as you actually do what the fuck we asked you to do. Like it is as simple as that. Like there's a reason why we're 50-50, not like 90 and 10, right? Like we will do half, and then we need you to just do your tiny little half, right? Which is to create the actual content, which is actually a lot of work. Anyway, that's the next thing. Next is the actual content ideation. So the actual content that you send to the clients is one of the main reasons why you guys are facing these content issues where your clients are just not creating enough content or the quality of content that you need. Is because not every person likes to do every type of content. Prime example, you watching this right now, if somebody asked you to do this YouTube video as I am recording right now, most of you would say, no, I don't want to do it. And the other half or the other portion that would say, yeah, I will do it, it would probably take you, and I'm not trying to sound cocky, but it would probably take you 4, 5, 6, 7 tries to actually get the recording. This video, as you can see, so far has been 1 take. I don't really edit my videos. These are very raw, natural takes. And this is my first take for this video, for context. So the reason why I'm able to do these is because I've been doing it for a very, very long time, literally years. I've been recording these videos for literal years. So it's very easy for me to think what I'm about to say. And like, as I'm saying something, I'm already thinking ahead of what's the next thing that I'm going to talk about. Now, for your clients, it's slightly different. They don't sit down and record these like fucking talking head videos, right? But you are going to ask them to do skits, then you're going to ask them to do public interviews, then you're going to ask them to do reaction type of videos, then you're going to ask them to do dance videos, and you get the idea, right? And every person is different. Some clients, they will never do a in-person street interview, but they're happy to do a dance. Some clients will never do a dance because they think it's cringe, but they don't mind doing talking head videos where they just sit in their car and they talk to the camera, right? You get the idea. So this is the biggest bottleneck for most of you guys, is because you're sending content ideas and the ideation where it just doesn't align with the client. She doesn't want to do that type of content. So you need to speak to your client and understand, like, okay, what kind of content are you comfortable with creating, number one, and number two, what kind of content do you actually enjoy creating? Like, you actually would love, like, you would just enjoy it, like it's your hobby, you know, that type of thing. And then last but not least, regarding content ideation, is to ensure that when you are sending content ideas to your clients, they're not just random ideas every fucking day, right? You should be working off of data to make not your life easier, but also your client's life easier. And what do I mean by that is, after you've got your client to create a bunch of content and you posted it for 30 days, right? You need to then look back at the content that you posted and start to identify the winners of, you know, the verticals, right? So some type of reels will perform better than others. So whatever your average is, let's just say your average is 10,000 views per reel. If some of the reels are performing at 5, 6x or more, that's a winning reel, and you should start to recreate it over and over and over. And what that does is two things. One, it's going to most likely get more views for your client than a random new idea. And number two, if your client's already made this, hence why it's been uploaded and gone viral, she's probably going to more likely to recreate it again, right? So when you're recreating it, the client just simply has to wear a different dress, or like be in a different location, right? But the video and the concept and the storyline should be still the same, and maybe the hook as well, right? So make sure you pay attention to these and implement them for your agency. Hey, real quick, just before you go, if you found this video valuable and you can't wait to implement the things that I already taught in this short video, I have so much more to show you. So this right here is an operational system that I built on how I run my own agency. And this is what you need to implement in order to actually finally take yourself out of the agency and it runs by itself and you can scale to those multiple 7-figure a months. So this is not for beginners. If you're just starting out, this is not going to be for you. But if you are an existing agency owner and you're struggling to scale to those multiple 6 or 7-figure months, this is what you need. It has everything on your client acquisition, to onboarding, to marketing, to chatting, to team management, all the systems and infrastructure that you need in order to actually consistently scale and get rid of all the bottlenecks. So if you want to get direct access to this entire board, I've written down all the problems and all the solutions that each section has and everything in between. You can zoom in and see all of these sections on how they work. Make sure you click the first link down below on this video, fill in the details, and whatever you answer on the questionnaire, you're going to get a personalized board of this. So if you say that marketing is your problem, you'll specifically get a board specifically for marketing, and so on and so on. So go ahead and click the link down below, and also leave a like on the video, man. Thank you so much.